just left the visitor center for Pacific Rim National Park at the turnoff from Highway 4. Driving on the Pacific Rim Highway now, heading up towards Tofino, but the intent is to stop at the Rainforest trail on the way there, and probably the beach as well. Because I am stopping, I have to pay outside the window for the free access, so it's $11 for one person. I think there's also a family rate, but that includes parking and all that other stuff too. So anyways, I'll be taking some videos along that trail, and well, keep going. Cheers. We just started the west side of the Rainforest Trail. The east side apparently is shut down because of landslides, so I won't be able to go there this time. This trail goes through the temperate rainforest, typically elevated, so you get to see a pretty good view. The hike itself isn't terribly long, but there are lots of stairs along the way, as I recall, so there are some accessibility issues if you have those. But yeah, I'm going to take some videos along the way. The weather is just so-so today. We got a little bit of a rain, not too much though, so yeah, it's overly pleasant. So yeah, thanks for joining me again, and we'll talk to you along the way. I'll walk on boardwalks for the most of this. It's set up as a loop and with a defined direction, as you can see coming up ahead. It can be a little slippery when it gets wet. We are in rainforest, so it does get wet. And the sign here is saying it's about 1.2 kilometers to go around the whole thing. So anyways, let's keep going. The staircase I was telling you about. There's a bit of up and down. Staircases can be a little slippery. We're walking on the boardwalk. But outside of that, just be careful and recognize that if you're visiting here. Crossing one of those bridge logs across a small little ravine. Nice use of a deadfall. Usually anyways. It's a quiet day. I think there's only one other car in the parking lot, and probably won't run into that group since we should all be going in the same direction here. This is one of the more popular trails outside of the beach to access in this national park. So getting lucky here. It is pretty quiet. You're just hearing the creek go by, occasional birds and the like. We're walking in a temperate rainforest, which basically means we get a lot of rain. I think they measure in meters here as opposed to centimeters. It makes for a very lush forest, a lot of broadleaf, pretty thick undergrowth. And typically a lot of wildlife. I mean, it's cooler, it's a temperate climate, so the temperature now maybe 10 degrees or so, and it does get to the single digits. So we're not tropical by any stretch, but we do certainly get the rain. The west coast of Vancouver Island is known to get a lot of rain. We have the Pacific Rim National Park, between Tofino, Ucluelet. If you go further south from Ucluelet, crossing over to Bamfield, you have the West Coast Trail, which connects, very popular trail, about 70 or so kilometers long, that connects Banfield to Fort Renfrew. It used to be an old rescue trail that you need to reserve in advance now to do it. And then from Port Renfrew you have the Juan de Fuca Trail, which continues down towards, I want to say, not Souk, but getting to about China Beach, I think, is the end of it. This one is a provincial park. You don't need to reserve it, as far as I know, and relatively close to the highway, so it's easy to get off of it if you have an issue. The West Coast Trail is you need to get called in for help on that one. Anyways, all three of these areas give you a great exposure to the rugged west coast of Vancouver Island, and all worthwhile checking out. And just like that, 1.2 kilometers is done. It doesn't really take that long to do this particular trail, at least lengthwise, but like, this would maybe be one of those trails you want to just hang out and take your time on. Enjoy the natural feel, especially if you are fortunate not to have a whole bunch of other visitors around you at the time, and it's sort of just your space. So anyways, just a recommendation. Thanks for joining me again on this exploration of trails on the West Coast. Please like, subscribe, and all those other things, and I'll see you again on the next one. Cheers.